Come along. Mylita stood a few meters ahead, holding an oil lantern to light their way through the dim library. Her gray hair was pinned in ringlets pulled away from her wrinkled face. Adelina lifted her skirt a few inches so her sensible shoes wouldn't catch as her heels clicked on the cobbled floor. "So is Linza here, or—" Mylita didn't answer, but continued at a hurried pace down the narrow aisle until it joined a wider one. She glanced at Adelina as if she half expected the girl to have disappeared. She didn't answer Adelina's question. Adelina was used to it. It crossed her mind to simply turn and explore the aisles. Thick dust and the smell of old leather hung heavily in the air. Through the gaps above the books, Adelina could barely make out the adjacent aisle, where shadows cast by her lamp flickered and played tricks on her eyes. Tilting her head, she squinted at the distant coffered ceiling. What might she find when she was free to read the beckoning volumes? But she forced herself to walk faster, catching up to Mylita as they passed a ladder affixed to the shelves by some machinery that allowed it to roll side to side. How would she ever learn to find books in the labyrinth of the history section? Something fluttered above her head, and Adelina looked up to find a floating book. It moved like a bird sailing past, its cover open like wings. It was moving the same direction she was, but it passed out of sight in moments. Among the wilderness of volumes, a well-lit clearing appeared. A solid wooden desk sat straight ahead, looking awkward against the space behind it. Several feet past the desk, a row of glowing blue stones were inset into the floor. Beyond them stood more bookshelves. Behind Adelina, the corridor from which she had just emerged was lined by shelves, their polished wooden end caps standing like soldiers at attention along the walkway. To her left, light poured through a wall of floor-to-ceiling windows that framed a scattering of desks for patrons to use. To their right, the shelves continued, and Adelina couldn't see far enough through the gaps above the books to see how far they went. Mylita stopped.
"This is our desk. You cannot go farther into the library."
Directly behind the desk lay the area surrounded by the blue stones, the place that interested Adelina most, so of course she wasn't allowed.